Hello there, welcome to League of Gamers. Today I am gonna talk about some of the best games that you could play on your PC. I know there are a lot of games out there, but these are some of the best ones, keeping in mind the graphic, story and the gameplay. So without further ado, let's begin. In short, Final Fantasy XIV is not just the best MMO game you can play right now, it's a fantastic Final Fantasy game in its own right. Through its relaunch and subsequent 3 expansions, Final Fantasy XIV has slowly morphed from a relatively generic good versus evil plot into a sprawling political and fantastical thriller. Final Fantasy XIV serves both satisfying payoffs to some years-long character arcs that rivals the Final Fantasy series best. Despite being an online MMO, you don't have to play it with strangers if you don't wish to. Story mode tends to be done solo, and also you have computer-generated characters for your party. So the next in the line is Disco Elysium. Disco Elysium took age-old CRPG mechanics and created something completely modern with them. As well as transplanting the dice rolls and deep dialogue options from Dungeons & Dragons into a lesser-seen noir detective setting, it offers an entirely original way to play, such as debating again 24 different sections of your own brain, each representative of a different skill or trait. The game has some of the best writing seen in any game. Playing Disco Elysium feels unlikely fresh and different than anything you have ever played. It's Automata time. Nier Automata is by all account a game that shouldn't exist. Director Yoko Taro's original Nier flopped back in 2010, but it nevertheless developed a ravenous fan base, and for a good reason. To put it simply, Nier Automata does what the original sought to do. Learning from its failures and building on its success for create a blend of hardcore and fluid combat. Despite a frustrating PC part that the fan base had to fix themselves with the all-but mandatory farm mod, Nier Automata's staying power is etched somewhere within its philosophical musings of humanity, pain of existence, and ability to find humor in between, and each of its big story moments is punctuated with a haunting soundtrack courtesy of composer Keiichi Okabe. All that makes Nier Automata a game that needs to be experienced from beginning to the end. Mind you, not just ending A but also ending B, C, D and E as well. Those multiple ending is something that no other game has dared to attempt. Let's move on to XCOM 2. XCOM 2 builds on a beautiful high-stakes tactical combat of a XCOM Enemy Unknown, and its War of the Chosen expansion makes it even better. It has the same tension of going from a technologically inferior underdog to powerful war machines, with the constant threat of the permanent death of your customized soldiers looming over every decision. However, it turns out the formula of defending Earth from alien invaders on its head by boldly recasting XCOM as a guerrilla force attempting to liberate the planet from alien occupation, making the situation more desperate than ever. This bigger and deeper sequel not just adds complexity in the form of new and more powerful soldier classes, equipment and aliens, but also a huge focus on replayability. Procedurally generating maps keeps you from falling into a repeatable pattern and tactical missions. Grand Theft Auto's sprawling yet meticulously detailed map is still the high bar to which all other open-world games aspire. Not only is it huge, it's incredibly dense with excellent content. Not just a driving and shooting and 3-protagonist story that makes up its campaign, and not limited to the numerous side activities, but all the sights, sounds and bustling activities you would expect to find in a city teeming human city underbelly. With so much to do, explore and play with both solo and online mode. It's truly incredible on multiple levels, and that's before you make everything completely insane with mods. Divinity Original Sin 2's Definitive Edition cemented it as one of the greatest RPGs of all time. It masterfully mixes pieces of CRPGs with modern mechanics and designs, feeling old and new at the same time. The sequel has improved on its predecessor's already incredible combat by deepening its system while simultaneously simplifying and smoothing out its clunker bits. Not to mention it introduces some brutally smart AI. With 6 different origin characters custom tagged to make your own and over 74,000 lines of fully voiced dialogues. This massive RPG has more than enough to keep you coming back again and again. Now let's Slay the Spire. In a roguelike, variety is king. Slay the Spire's constantly changing decks of ability cards, powerful relics and 4 drastically different playable characters keeps this turn-based battle fresh and engaging. Watching your character's attacks, defenses, skills and powers evolve across its 3 chapters is a journey, and throwing your hand in at the end of a run, knowing you may never see it again, which is just like saying goodbye to a friend you were just getting to know. Valve's first Half-Life game in 13 years reminded us of the innovation that's made this series so special and why its return was so anticipated. Just as the first Half-Life proved you could tell a story in a first-person game without taking control of the camera away, and Half-Life 2 pioneered physics-based puzzles in combat, Alyx has set a new standard for virtual reality shooters. Its full-length campaign pulls up all the stops for an amazing and horrifying battle against combined soldiers, zombie headcrabs and 3-dimensional puzzles. It even turns the simple act of reloading your weapon into a desperate life-or-death struggle. The Witcher 3, while deep lengthy RPGs are stable PC games and very few have put a larger chunk of sophisticated content forward, and The Witcher 3, Wild Hunt has its massive sandbox open-world areas impress both in terms of scope and density. They are generously dotted with great masters to slay, tantalizing mysteries to solve and personal stories to unfurl. Especially when you pile on the Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine expansion content, which you absolutely should. It is a true epic, and it's also one of the most impressive overall production in gaming history, with dreams of excellently written dialogue by a stellar voice cast and an incredible original soundtrack. Portal 2 claims the top spot. This game has struck so many chords and so perfectly, and accomplishes so much so well. Its impeccable level design, charming personality and varied puzzle system makes you feel smarter just for getting through. Plus its co-op collaborative thinking, and that helps it remain one of the best multiplayer experiences that you can share with your pals around. So that's it for today guys, I hope you like the video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to League of Gamers. Till then, may the force be with you.